Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece Chapter 461. And if I don't see Nami knock the fuck out of Absalom in the next chapter, if I don't see that, I'm gonna be so disappointed. So disappointed. Like, seriously, you got, and I know I usually don't start at the very end, but as you guys know, I read the chapter and I jump right into the reaction slash review. If I don't see Nami knock him out after we just watched one of the zombies nod her head and say, "I love you, Ab," okay? And you got this dude, he's got the tongue all out, like he's going in. Like, he's not going for a little bit of tongue. Like, he's going for the whole damn thing. Like, this is going to be so fucking funny when she wakes up and just decks his ass. This is going to be so hilarious. If I don't see that, I'm going to be so fucking disappointed. Because Oda has written Nami almost to a T, like the typical shonen female heroine. So I cannot wait to see that. Now, this chapter overall was really good. I like, again, the fact that everyone is teamed... Excuse me. I like the fact that everyone is teamed up with someone who hasn't had their shadow taken. And I like how Luffy did have to depend on Nico, Robin, and Chopper because he runs right into Dr. Hoback and Sindri. And Luffy starts to say, "I'll just kick his ass too." And I'm like, okay, you're getting sidetracked. But at the same time, they're in the way. And right when Sindri starts throwing the plates and everything, I was like, oh, wow. Sindri, it struck me like she still kind of resented Hoback, and to watch her kind of throwing the plates, moving at his command like that, that kind of threw me off some. But in the last chapter, one of the things that Dr. Hoback had said was he had wanted Morai to give him, he had wanted him, Dr. Moria, not Dr. Moria, Gecko Moria, he wanted him to give Dr. Hoback control over 2 zombies. So it looks like it might have been Sindri. So I'm not too sure how the logistics on that work out. But I like how after the fact Luffy comes face to face with one of the warlords of the sea. And I like how they just stare down each other. And you got Moria. He's just sitting there, hand behind his head, just super chill. Looks like he just ate a big ass pizza by himself and was getting ready to work on some hot wings and drumsticks and roll up a big fat blunt. And Luffy comes around the corner and he's like, you took my shadow, motherfucker, I'm whooping your ass. I love how Luffy had that reaction, and it looks like right away we're just gonna get them jumping right into the fight. But what I also thought was pretty cool was the fact that Nico Robin, she just sprouts out those extra hands and she stops Sindri from throwing the plate. So I thought that was cool. I like how Chopper is actually standing up to one of his idols. And this is so exciting for me because Chopper's one of those characters that I crack a lot of jokes at him. But I've told you guys on more than one occasion, I really love reading Chopper's reactions to stuff because he's, for the most part, had a sheltered life. Like, he went through some pretty fucked up stuff, you know, although the reindeer didn't want to fuck with him because he had a fucked up appearance and everything. Oh, that's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like, I'm poking fun at Chopper, but Drum Island, you know, we got Chopper's backstory, and we know, I think it was Dr. Hirolook. Chopper was, you know, wanting to practice medicine, ended up killing him, and Dr. Kureha basically took him under her wing and let Chopper go off onto his own with the Straw Hats. And he's just been experiencing life ever since then. And he's been growing closer to the crew. And we just saw him have his, basically, his idol crush his perception of him. And now Chopper's standing up to him. And it's like Chopper is having that moment where he's no longer a child, but he's not quite a man. He's a teenager. And Chopper is realizing the world isn't all peaches and ice cream. There's going to be some times where you got to eat your broccoli and Brussels sprouts and you got to floss between your teeth. Like, I love the fact that that's what we're seeing with Chopper, because he tells Dr. Hoback, you're mine. Don't worry about Luffy. You don't deserve to call yourself a doctor anymore. And the way he stood up to him, man, this is why Oda, I like reading Oda stuff. It's a nice change of pace from what I like with the actual Naruto stuff, because at this point, this is what would have happened in Naruto, okay? Particularly part 2 of Naruto after volume 27. Naruto would have pulled up a chair, said, Hoback, sit your ass down right here. He would have pulled out the ninja Bible. He would have gone to the Naruto book of Talk no Jutsu, and he would have read chapter 6, verse number 3, and proceeded to tell Dr. Hoback exactly why what he did was not the way of the shinobi. This is not what's going on with Chopper. Chopper is going to whoop this dude's ass. And after the fact, we could see a moment where Chopper, through his actions, reaches Dr. Hoback, and maybe that's how he gets, brought back to the good side or whatnot. But I like how Hoback has that moment where he looks at Chopper and says, I'm going to make you a marionette. I'm going to kill you. Probably stitch you together with some ox's ball sack. You're going to be a deformed zombie like the rest of them. But I'm going to make you into something special. And it's just seeing two doctors, one ethical, one unethical, clashing against each other. That's very beautiful to have two doctors fighting. It's just like what we saw with the train fight with Sanji, where Sanji fought the cook that was on CP9. I love the fact that now we're seeing this with Chopper. Now, another thing that I thought was really interesting is we have this moment where Oars, the zombie that Luffy had gotten his shadow put into, Zoro and Sanji are like, we can't go up against this thing. He talks like Luffy, has his mannerisms. If he has Luffy's fighting style, we're in trouble. And I don't know if that's Oda saying that if Luffy just got bloodlusted, okay? If current Luffy fought current Sanji and Zoro, if he got bloodlusted, Luffy would fuck them up. It would be another Luffy versus Usopp moment where Luffy lets him get a few punches in, and when he gets serious, it's like, night night, bitch, it's over with. So I like the fact that Oda's putting that very clear, but at the same time I can see it where it's like Luffy's shadow is put into this super powerful zombie. And Luffy's probably going to have to be the one that brings him down. So I love the fact that that's what we see. And for a moment, it looked like we were going to get Sanji versus Luffy, Zoro versus Luffy, Frankie versus Luffy, Usopp versus Luffy. The only reason why I say that is because one of the things that we see in shonens most of the time is you don't see everybody kind of gang up. You see them all kind of either fighting alongside each other against multiple opponents, or there's this honor thing. We've never really seen two Straw Hats work in unison and take down one opponent. Even when you go back to Alabasta, where you had Chopper and Usopp fighting alongside each other, I think they're fighting number 4, or not number 4, Mr. 4 and I cannot remember what Miss Merry Christmas, I think that was her name. But they were fighting two separate opponents. There were moments where their attack kind of played off each other, but at the same time, they kind of just locked in on their one opponent. And so I like the fact that we were going to see that. And I wonder if this is Oda potentially looking at this saying, Luffy's going to have more friction, conflict with his crewmates. And conflict makes for a good story. And because One Piece is long as hell, I could definitely see moments where Luffy just clashes with the different members in his crew, because anytime you have members of a crew who could be leaders in their own right, you're going to have moments where ideals clash. Even though they follow Luffy, they all went onto the Grand Line for their own reasons. They have their own dreams. And so sometimes that can clash. So that's one of the things that I'm very excited that Oda, even if he just teased it here and we never see it again, which I think is bullshit, because Oda is one of those writers that you guys tell me all the time. Oda will have Usopp pick up a penny, and then 30 chapters later, that penny becomes a nickel. And then 100 chapters later, that nickel becomes a dime. And then, wait for it, 200 chapters later, that dime becomes 10 million berries that Nami uses to purchase whatever. Like, that's one of those things that just snowballs. So I like the fact that we could see something like that, but at the same time I kind of doubt it, because at this point I think Luffy's matured enough where he's not going to cross blows with another member of his crew, because he's already done that with Usopp and seen the fallout of it. So it's kind of fitting that we might just see Luffy zombie fight all the other members of the crew, because everyone else, Chopper, he hasn't really had to. Well, he swapped hands with Chopper a little bit in that Luffy knocked Chopper on top of the head, chased him around, tried to eat him, and with Nico Robin, he was directly opposed to her. So that could work. That could work where Zombie Luffy fights all of these members, and that kind of fills into place for Luffy having fought each of the members of his crew. So I would be excited to see that. Now, I want to talk about Usopp. I saved Usopp's part for last because I kicked myself for not bringing this up in the last review, okay? And it's very fitting that this happens on the same chapter where on the cover page, Enel is looking at those little space cadets. He's looking over his shoulder in a very condescending way. And it's just like, he just avenged their doctor. But at the same time, Enel's got that God complex. And he's just like, you're supposed to worship me. The fuck are you on? I see Enel just on that moment where he's just like, look, I'm after the bar, say, get the fuck out of my way. And he just goes off and makes little lightning sprinkled chicken nuggets or some shit. So, Usopp, the reason why this impressed me is Perona. She has like the hollow fruit. It hollows out the human heart, leaves nothing but the negative emotions. And Oda, that crafty motherfucker, I did not catch this at first. And as soon as I read this, I said, shit. Oda had Usopp say in the last chapter that he regretted not being able to stop Nami from being taken, and he says he wants to go with Sanji to get her back because as a man he couldn't prevent Nami from being taken. And it's another thing when you go all the way back, and I did point this out. You know, Usopp says he wouldn't be a man if he let Absalom take Nami, and so Usopp, having just freshly returned to the crew after watching the Mary basically get burned down, you can tell Usopp somewhere in his heart he's still carrying the burden of what happened in Water 7 and what happened on Enies Lobby, and he's able to withstand all of Perona's hollow fruit attacks with that ghost. And I love the fact that Usopp says, bitch, that shit won't work on me because I'm already extremely negative. And it just blows Perona's mind. So I was not expecting this to be a very comical fight. However, when you look at the fact that she has Usopp, not Usopp, but she has Sanji and Zoro. Zoro's just like, I wish I was getting stomped on by a gorilla. Sanji's just like, I wish I was reborn as a slug. And Frankie's just like, I wish that my penis was big as my fucking pinky. Like, hey, you know, I can't even throw the salt at Frankie like that, because one of the things we saw on one of the cover pages was, not cover pages, the SB corners, was Oda drew that panel of that one girl. She had the binoculars and she was just looking. And apparently, apparently Frankie's pretty well endowed, okay? Because in that SB corner, Oda says that girl, she was looking and she got more than an eye full of Frankie. That means Frankie had his, you know, Dende just slinging all out that bitch. He was just like, yeah, girl, what you know about this shit? Like, I love the fact that what we see in this is Usopp is standing up to her, and Perona has no way to deal with Usopp. He's got that salt that's in his in the little balls that he's been working on. And Usopp very well could take down her. And I love the fact that if that's the case, Usopp has redeemed himself 150% for what he did on Water 7. And I like the fact that Oda teased it, because when I read Usopp saying, I'm Captain Usopp, I'm like, why would that be a negative thing? And it was just Usopp telling her, like, no, bitch, I'm Captain Usopp. You're going to remember this fucking name. This is going to be a name you're going to tell your zombie grandchildren that I ran into Captain Usopp and he went in dry on my ass. I love the fact that Usopp is getting some time to shine, man. This is so beautiful. Same time we're seeing Chopper and Nico Robin. This is really good. I just wish that we would see Frankie mixed up with somebody. I really want to see Frankie have a nice fight in this, man. But my chapter question to you guys is going to be, what were your thoughts on Usopp saying he's extremely negative, and why do you think that Usopp's heart is still filled with so much negativity? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, guys. Have an awesome day.